I think the only thing that I would say to that though is some people don't think they're competitive because they've never competed in their life. Like, for example, in my business, we recruit and train thousands of people every year. And so, I'll recruit some couple and they seem so shy and kind of introverted and, not really that motivated to compete on anything. And then because their whole life they never played sports, they never did anything. And then you show them a trophy or you get them up on stage or you give them some sort of recognition. Then all of a sudden, shit, man, they like turn into another person. So, I mean, I think that the competitiveness, I think you're right in the sense that we're probably born with that. It was probably always in them, but they never had an opportunity to compete. So like for you or me, we played sports, so we always had an outlet for that competitive nature. But I think that's kind of a tragedy for a lot of people is they don't have, like, even now in business. I mean, I compete in business, you compete in business. We're trying to build successful companies, and that's our way. We don't play baseball anymore, but this is our way to compete. Sure. and to grow and to try to do better. So makes sense.
I think that's super interesting because I mean, at the end of the day, it's like we're all competing with ourselves, and that's kind of how I look at it. Is like in sports, it's very obvious. And I'm a Knicks fan, and we have a big playoff game tonight to finally win our first series in what feels like forever. And it's very obvious in basketball or most sports, in fighting, whatever. I'm competing against this individual or this team. But when you get out of that, or if you never play sports, sometimes it's tricky. It's like, who is my competition against? And really, at the end of the day, so you're competing with yourself and your best version of yourself. Because every single day, every single moment, you have your good shoulder with someone telling you this is what you should be doing to get X results. But then you have the bad angel on the other side saying, hey, don't do this. That doesn't really matter. Don't push yourself. Don't work too hard to get there. So there's always that competition of, do I go this way or do I go that way? And I do agree with you. It's like, what actually lights you up? What makes you want to compete to get your best? So absolutely, I agree with that. I think there's a big piece that you're born with, but the other piece is, how do you figure out what in this world can get us excited to push ourselves to get better every day?
So why are you so excited about the tech space? And, of course you have startup and you've had startups, and, what was it about that area of the world and business? Why were you so excited about it?
There was nothing in like the tech world that was like, oh, I need to be in tech. That was not for me what was exciting. Like for me, going back to your question about being a kid, the one thing I always wanted was to live like this special life. And it was very unrealistic in a lot of ways. Like as a kid, I want to be a Major League Baseball player. And then once I realized I'm probably not going to get there, it's, hey, I want to be a GM of a sports team. Then it's, I think being an owner of a sports team, that'd be pretty damn cool. I want to own a sports team. It's like, I always had these massive dreams, and many would say are very unrealistic. And I am a million miles away from getting there, but I always had these big dreams. And I was in college, I was a sport management major. So I did a couple of internships with sports teams. And then I realized, I was like, damn, to your point earlier, like this doesn't light me up enough in order for me to get to where I want to go. And then I very luckily took an entrepreneurship class my junior year of college. I really didn't know what entrepreneurship even was, but I was like, hey, this is what I want, because I want freedom. I want to try to get some level of greatness, and this can be the avenue to get there. So that was kind of how I got interested in entrepreneurship. And then once I started my first company and I found out like you can go through the hurdles that you need to go through as an entrepreneur, because it ain't all sunshine and rainbows. Most people do not, almost nobody actually gets to Mark Zuckerberg status. And you certainly almost never get to Mark Zuckerberg status on your first at bat. So for me, it was just this desire of greatness and this desire of freedom that really got me interested in entrepreneurship in the first place.
So right now you're talking to a lot of entrepreneurs. I mean, most of the people watching this, they have small businesses. I mean, some have big businesses, real estate agent, financial services people, just, little mom and pop businesses. And I know that you had some challenges and struggles maybe getting your businesses off the ground. What are some of the things that happened to you that were some challenges looking back, and how did you overcome some of that, some of those challenges?
Yeah, great question. So I always say, I always say that entrepreneurs are the heartbeat of America. And I believe that entrepreneurs are what make this country, because it's really what this country is built off of, is this fight for entrepreneurship. And I feel like entrepreneurs, they're so important, but I feel like we don't give them enough support and really love that they deserve, because as you know, as many people listening, if you're an entrepreneur, you know, the odds are so far stacked against you. Like if you're a small business, you're going up against Walmart. They have an opportunity to get a bunch of products at a hell of a lot lower price, and they can put a million Walmarts all over the place. So the odds are so stacked against us. And oftentimes we're not taught exactly how to turn $1 into $2, and to do it as efficiently as possible. So for me, I mean, I made a million mistakes in my first startup, but the number one thing I always share with entrepreneurs is you got to figure out how you can get to product market fit as quickly as possible. Because if you do not get to product market fit, you are going to constantly feel like you are clogging holes in a leaky bucket. You got to build a product that the market wants, they're willing to buy once, and then they're willing to buy over and over and over again. Because if you get there, you'll have a foundation you could grow from. But if you don't get there, it's going to be a real tough ride.
So what you're basically saying is you got to find a product that that people love right away. I mean, because I mean, that's the challenge, right? That's the tricky part. So how do we do that? What are some of the, maybe are there routines that you go through? Are there steps that you go through? Or like, how do you get to that point faster?
Yeah, sell early, sell fast. So sometimes people say, I'm going to build a product for a year or 2 years or 6 months or whatever that time period is, and then I'll start selling. No, you got to sell before you're ready. It doesn't mean you're selling a big dream, selling BS, selling fluff to get people in there, but you got to sell quickly. Why? Because a lot of entrepreneurs, what we do is we'll talk to people about our ideas. And because people are nice, they'll say, that's a great idea. I really like that idea. And they're not doing it for any ill intention, but they're doing it because they want to cheer you on. But what's very different is when you say to them, hey, are you willing to buy this for X amount of dollars? Then that's going to put their money where their mouth is. So one of the things is you got to sell and sell fast, sell early to figure out, will people even buy what you're offering? And then once you do, you want to see, do they buy once, second time, a third time, a fourth time? Because for me, with my tech startup, we did a great job of getting great big customers to buy from us once. But our retention was the reason why I was not a multimillionaire after selling my first company, because we could get big brands, we could get decent, contracts from them, but we really struggled to get them to continue working with us. So that would be my biggest advice on doing it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it reminds me of my business in the early days. I mean, I think one of the best things that I did, and one of the best things that I get my new recruits to do, is to go out there and sell right away. Get on appointments, get in front of some people, show the product, get ideas, get, maybe some feedback. And so what it allowed me to do, number one, is it allowed me to get trained very, very quickly. So I knew what I was doing. So that way, when I was on my own, I was trained, I was confident and competent. And it was also good because it got me in front of clients right away to know if my product was selling or not. So I love that, because I found out right away within my first 30 days. I think I had helped like 20 families or something like that, and done their investments in life insurance and all this stuff. And so I knew that the product was good, and it was a good fit for the market. And I knew that it could sell. And so I was excited about that. And that's really, looking back, I mean, this is over 25 years ago. Looking back, that's probably the number one reason why I stayed, and also why I stayed in business, because I really was a crusader for what I was doing, and I just felt like it was right. I knew it was right. I saw it in action. I saw it right before my eyes that people were buying. People wanted this. People wanted to be a part of this.
If you like this video and you want to watch another one, click right here. If you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.